All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. We've got a good turnout so far, and I'm sure a few more will trickle in, but your time is valuable to us, so we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to Body Talks, Soul Listens and Spirit Guides, our online event to help us get well grounded for the holidays coming up. As most of you already know, I'm Kaileen Cox. I'm an intuitive medium and meditation guide. Later on, I'll be going through a meditation with you all. But for now, we're going to jump on over to Tucson, Arizona with my dear mentor and great friend, Paul Bucky with BioTouch Healing.
Hey, everybody. Let's see. So I hope you all know how to use this thing. For those who don't, if you go up to that far right corner, you can either go gallery view, which is see everybody, or if you do speaker view, you'll just see the person speaking. So depending on how you like to look at things. Hello, Sarah, too, who just came in, Terry, Lynn, Laura. We got people from all over. So we're just going to take a little moment and let me turn this off and this off. There. Okay, so welcome, and I am so thrilled that Kai sets these little shows up because I always like going on stage. And I think this virtual stuff is just awesome. I mean, we got Karen in Canada, we got, Chicago, we got Tucson. It's just one of the beautiful things that's happened. This pandemic has been going on. So I'm going to share a little bit about BioTouch. A lot of you here already know about BioTouch, so I don't want to go into too much about the history, but just let you know that I am sort of the stooge that met the man who created what we call BioTouch Healing. And BioTouch Healing came through a mining engineer. So I was just listening to a show today of them talking about these different kinds of spiritual healings and the initiations that happen and the different levels that they have and all these other kinds of techniques, and how that's a history of healing work with different kinds of cultures. But it's not a big thing in the Western culture. The Western culture, so that this technique coming from a Western-minded mining engineer in Southwest Colorado who was a smoking, coffee drinking, chain coffee drinker, chain smoker from 6 a.m. till midnight, and me meeting him, and I was the town hippie in this little town of 900 people in Southwest Colorado, makes this technique awesome. It makes it very simple, it's very inspiring, and it very much hits the title of this program, which is Body Talks, Soul Listens, and Spirit Guides. When we talk about spiritual practices, the reason I've dedicated over 33 years of my life to this technique is because it sort of was the answer of everything I'd been desiring since I was 5 years old, which was that everybody could be happy and healthy and loved. That was my wish on my 5th birthday. And when I found BioTouch and what was happening in this little town, it really was about an expression of love. And in fact, one of the old timers in this town told me, Norman and Carol brought love to the Mancos Valley with this touch technique. And it's done just with these 2 fingers. So if you all just take those 2 fingers and then just lightly touch on the skin like a butterfly. And we're going to actually show you a couple of what we call sets of points to use during these stressful times, whether it's the virus or the holidays. But that light touch, no pressure, is all that we do in applying this technique. And you don't have to center yourself. You don't have to be, as we say, an all kind, loving person. The meditation, if there is, the centering, just happens by doing the touch. And it's really done most effectively and consistently when you touch another human being. So this is a technique that's really about also creating relationship in love. There's no judgment. There's no trying to change people. There's no trying to, we don't recommend, we don't diagnose. We just have a series of points that we do to help the body correct. If it's just stress reduction, I'm going to show you the research we did with that, or it will address all symptoms of any kind of disease. Probably what got me most involved was my mother, who the medical system killed her on the operating table, trying to do open heart surgery. They brought her back to life. They said if she lived, she'd be a vegetable. And I worked with her for 3 weeks in intensive care while she was in a coma. And the short of the story is 6 months later, she was walking on a beach in Hawaii. A year later, after she'd had triple bypass, the doctor said she had the heart of a 20-year-old, and he didn't find any heart damage at all. And the only thing she did differently was BioTouch. But that's a way extreme use of BioTouch. And what we're trying to do today is, how can BioTouch, something so light and so gentle, help us with our stress, and not just ours, for the whole family? As you're going to see when we show what we call the greeting, I'm going to show a wife working on her husband, and then the little boy of the family coming in and also doing this. So it's about building relationship. It's about really practicing living in the present moment, but not having to do a lot of gyrations. That's what I love about it. Yeah, I tell the teenagers, you know, even jerks can do this technique, and I've proven it because I'm one of the bigger jerks on the planet. So, not that any of you are jerks out there, but we're just going to show you a little bit of how we do this, and we have numerous ways to learn it besides this evening. It is so effective that even what you're going to get this evening, you will be able to help someone in a healing process. So let me share with you, and if you have any questions, just raise your hand or yelp it out, because so I'm going to show you a little bit of the, Kai, you're going to have to let these people in because I'm losing track here. Okay, so what we did is we did some research, some major research with University of Arizona and the University of Texas at Tyler, with Gary Schwartz at the university here locally, and Dr. Kenneth Stevenson in Tyler, Texas. And Dr. Stevenson did a lot of hormonal testing, saliva testing, blood spot testing, huge questionnaire. All of that is available on our website. Here's our website in that little research button. So if you want more of the data and the research, you can go to that research button on our website and get more of the details. But what she came up with at the end of her research project was, this is our stress chart. This is everything up in here are the stressors that happen to us. We can't really do much about over half of those, including just holidays coming around. Of course, we can add into this the whole pandemic, the news, the politics, all those things are creating stressors. An interesting part of that is just gene stressors. I mean, we carry stress from generations past. You know, I'm first generation born in America from a father who was on the last boat out of Nazi Germany times. So I carried those stressors. So all of these stressors, Dr. Stevenson tells us, create what she calls accelerated aging pathways and chronic stress. So we're talking about stress today. These chronic stresses go on all the time. Let me let these people in here. Okay. And those chronic stressors create what's called an immune dysregulation on one hand, and a cortisol dysregulation on the other hand. That's our nighttime when we sleep. So what we're finding is you get up in the morning and you sort of feel tired. In the middle of the day when you should have a lot of energy, you have a crash. So then you have a cup of coffee or a candy bar. Those kinds of things. We actually have naturopaths now who, they won't work with anybody that has chronic, especially immune problems, because until they check cortisol levels, they really believe a lot of our, and then it shows it here, a lot of our dementia, cardiovascular disease, infections, tumors, mood disorders, obesity, All these diseases we start having are because of our chronic stress. Well, the research showed if you put BioTouch into that chronic stress cycle, one thing that happens is you increase interleukin-12 levels. That is considered an immunotherapy agent, and that is fights infection and cancer and promotes healthy aging. And it also improves our circadian rhythm. So if that's all BioTouch does, we're just already ahead of the game. And 80% of our problems we have are stress related. So what we're going to teach you tonight is a little bit of what you can do just to do some stress reduction. This is part of our the manual that we have, and I'll show you. It also talks about how to do it, shows you, takes you through details, and we're going to teach you the greeting, okay? And what I want you to do is I'm going to show you a little video. It's going to, and find these points on yourself. Now we do touch right on the skin. So you'll be able to just sort of go under a shirt or between a button or just go over your shirt, just so you can find them so that you'll be able to actually apply them when we're done. So let me show you the little video of the greeting and sort of find these points while we're doing them. And I can't do it that way. I have to do it this way.
Oh, can you make it a little larger? Because it's kind of hard to see. There you go. Thank you.
So it's
The greeting is always performed at the beginning of each session. It's the only set that uses one hand and the only set that indicates which hand to use. The greeting is performed with the dominant hand. If you are right-handed, use your right hand. If you are left-handed, use your left hand. The greeting is made by touching at point 1, which is in the fleshy area just below the bottom of the breastbone or sternum. Hold this point for 6 to 8 seconds. Then, with the same 2 fingers, touch point 2 on the back. To find point 2, look for the big bone at the base of the neck. From here, move 1 to 1.5 inches to the left. This is point 2. Hold this point for 6 to 8 seconds. More than one associate may work with a recipient provided that all of the associates perform the greeting. If the associate or the recipient leaves the session, or if someone who hasn't done the greeting touches either the recipient or the associate, the greeting must be reestablished. Then the session may proceed from where it was interrupted.
If nothing else is inspiring about that video, it's that young child working with the parents. And I think whether it's grandkids or children, I think it's time that if we as our elders and as parents and grandparents can turn to our children and say to them, hey, grandpa needs some help, or mom needs some help, and just have them do that greeting. I will guarantee you, just doing that greeting is a stress reducer. In fact, we have a whole program. We have people try to just make it part of a 21-day habit energy. If we just did that, it would take 30 seconds every day even, on the way to school, first thing in the morning, last thing in the evening. I know that it would start reducing stress the way that Kenneth Stevens talked about it in that chart. It's very simple. The problem that we're having with most things that we do, and this is not about having to sit cross-legged, focus on your navel, breathe, and then all of a sudden you're breathing so hard you get a headache. And so this is just simple. You just take the 2 fingers and lightly touch below that breastbone and then to the left of that big bone. That's all you have to do. And then I'm going to show you just one other thing of what we call the headset, which works on the internal parts of the brain, whether it's the pituitary center, the pineal gland, whatever. It's just taking 2 fingers. Now, that first set was with one hand. The second part, you're going to use both hands. After you do the greeting, you always use 2 hands. If you just take 2 hands and touch your forehead right at the crown, doesn't matter which hand, and then you take your other hand And at the base of your skull, right in the middle of the neck, you hold there. And you just do that for 6 to 8 seconds. We call it ANA in our headset. 6 to 8 seconds. You're stimulating whatever is in the brain that holds our stress. So the greeting and that little bit right there of ANA on the headset can really help with stress reduction. It can actually start creating a healing process. Once you've done that, you can take both hands and touch wherever you want, even without knowing anything else in the manual. If somebody has a neck ache, you could just take both hands and touch around the neck. And what we do, sometimes we do sweeps. We slowly move across an infected area. It could be a local area in the back or a shoulder. You could just locally touch, what we call locally, just touch. Once you've done that greeting, the greeting is the key. And so again, let me just share with you places where you can learn. Well, there it is, our happy fingers. Can you all see the website there? No, because I didn't share. So here's our website, just so you can know. This is all the places you can come to learn about it. We have a Monday show if you want to find out more. Bev and I, she's president of the organization. We do a weekly show reminding people how to do the technique. And then this little thing here, get a free preview of the training ebook. If you click on that, that will give you a PDF version of what I just showed you. It will show you the greeting. It will show you how to do it. It will remind you. It will give you the link to that video I just showed you. Doesn't cost you anything. It's right there. If you want even more, up here, there's the BioTouch and how to help with this coronavirus. So because we know there's a building of the immune system, just by clicking this link up in here, will give you that stress chart and a couple of other sets of points that you can do too. And then of course, there's all kinds of information here. If you want to get the entire manual with the links to the video, that is possible for $18 of becoming a member. We are a nonprofit organization. None of us are being paid for doing this. We have people like Kai, who's on the board, who incorporates this. Karen, who's here from, who's going to present in the later this evening. She's on the process of getting certified and going to represent BioTouch up there in Canada. We do have people all over the world who are stepping up, but you don't have to be certified. You've got it. You have everything it takes right now to reclaim your birthright, to be happy, healthy. It's your right. We don't need to go out and spend a lot of money to do that. We can do it right now. The question is whether or not we're going to. Whether we're going to take that 30 seconds to take care of myself and my loved ones. That's all it takes is 30 seconds. Any questions from anybody? I know a lot of people here have tried BioTouch.
Paul, does everybody know where you are on PEMA if they want to come in and get BioTouch?
Well, a lot of people on this little screen right here don't even live in Tucson. So
okay.
It is pretty irrelevant.
Okay, never mind.
So that's why we're teaching it, is because you don't need PEMA Street. Okay. You need these two fingers. Really, I can't tell you enough. I can't tell you how much this technique means to me. I've spent 32 years of my life, which could be older than some of you, doing this technique, because I found something that really empowers people to take back responsibility for their own health care and the well-being of themselves and their family. And then you still do all these other things. It doesn't negate, meditations and yoga and supplements and vaccines. It doesn't really matter. Operations, pre and post-op, there's nothing better than this. But during these stressful times, just taking that little 30, and then people always ask me too, what if you don't have anybody to work on? So during this time of isolation, what we're telling people is, because this is about building relationship, which we've become so isolated. This isolation that's happening now, we've been isolated from one another for a long time. this has just brought it to the forefront. I mean, how many times have you walked down a street, even before the pandemic, and never said boo to anybody? So this has just brought it to the forefront. And so the way that we can break this isolation, if you have no one to work on, or you have a loved one that needs help and they're not living with you, think about them and do those points with them. Or if you have no one to work with you, think about those points and think about somebody touching you. Let's really try moving away from just doing self-healing kind of work and start creating relationships, even if it's just in our mind's eye. And I think, as a lot of other presenters tonight, there is a lot more than we know just in this physical body. So we could use the BioTouch points to have someone work on us and just picture them touching us or us touching them. And I think that could be effective too. We're actually having some people trying that and seeing how it works. Karen? Yeah.
So I've been working with Bev, as you know, and we were talking about it, and she actually did distant healing for me. It was all of 8 minutes. I can't tell you, I had such an amazing experience, and I'm a terrible sleeper. I had a great sleep last night. That was 8 minutes that she worked on me, or distant worked on me.
Right.
Let me tell you, I believed in it, but it's taken it to a whole new realm for me.
Well, that's good. And that's what we're trying to do, is whatever you can do. But it is one person touching another. That's how BioTouch was started, but we're able to sort of move it now because we can't be around people. I know that was one of the reasons Karen asked they're hooking up this thing, because Karen had nobody to work with her. So even this stress reduction can be done by even tonight trying it before you go to sleep. Think of somebody doing that greeting, okay? Remember, it's 6 to 8 seconds just below that breastbone, lightly touching there, and 6 to 8 seconds just to the left of that big bone, and then just do those 2 points front and back of the head. Just think of somebody doing that on you tonight. Can't hurt. It can only help. I really appreciate the time here, Kai, and with all of you. I hope that was beneficial. If you have any personal questions, kick me an email. You can go to the website and get it. I'll post it here on the chat with the website. And it's the kind of organization that we get back with you. And if you send a personal email, I will personally answer it because this is all I do besides drink beer and eat pizza, but that's after the show. Thank you all.
Wonderful. Thank you, Paul. If anyone else has any questions and wants to jump out and unmute themselves, please do that now. Otherwise, Just Touch is in the chat. And this will all be, of course, sent to you after the show. For now, we've got some self-awareness with BioTouch. Now we're gonna get into the soul a little bit with a little bit of a meditation. Get us nice and grounded. Today I want to be talking about surrendering. A lot of times when you hear the word surrender, we get to this idea of everything's gone wrong, I throw my hands up in the air, fine, I surrender, right? Well, I want it to be thought of more of as an idea of, hey, I'm not in control because I don't have to be in control. I surrender this to whatever you want to believe in. If you want to believe in the divinity, a higher power, a God, whatever works for you, just surrender it, right? Surrender that energy out there, put that vibration so that it doesn't have to be on your shoulders. So this has been a thing I've been working on for a few months now, where it's, my first thought is when I first start overthinking, I just say to myself, I surrender. And I'm human, right? So yes, I am still gonna worry. I am still gonna overthink because that's part of this lifetime. But it's that self-awareness, my soul listening to what I'm thinking about, and my notice reaction time of I surrender. I get there quicker now, which is nice. Could still be a little faster, but being pregnant and all the things going on in the world, you know, it's natural to worry, and that's okay. That is one of my biggest messages, is that you're human. So please don't try not to be human, right? There's plenty of times where we can ask our ego to step to the side, but ego is still a part of us. So with this surrender, we're gonna do a little meditation, get into our bodies, and then send love to the whole world. It's always a beautiful thing when we come together as 10 or more people and can just send out love. So if you're comfortable, or if you want to get comfortable, if that means laying down, or if you're sitting and you want your feet flat on the earth, however you feel comfortable meditating is perfect. Please go ahead and do that now. I'll give you a moment. Normally I'd be laying down, but I'll stay up here with you guys. And we're gonna start with some nice grounding breaths. Let's go ahead and imagine the breath coming up through our feet, up our legs, abdomen, in through our chest, our head, and out the crown chakra, or just above the head. So that breath comes in, and then we're gonna push it out. Taking another breath in, a little deeper this time. And on the exhale, we're going to put our tongue at the roof of our mouth, like we're blowing out birthday candles. Really get that grounded breath. So and one more deep breath, feeling a little tingly now inside our bodies. Now saying it with me, preferably out loud so the universe can hear you, resonate with you. I want you to say, I surrender. We're going to say this 10 times, nice and relaxed. If at any point you feel like you need to adjust, that's perfect. Listen to your body and go ahead and do so. I surrender. 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 Take note of any thoughts that might have come up while you were saying this, or if at any point it was hard to actually get the words out loud. These are all signs from our body and soul and spirit. And after the meditation, we'll have time to write those messages down. Being present in our body, I want to do a scan. Really check in with how your physical, emotional, spiritual body is feeling. Let's start down at our toes. Give them a little wiggle. Check in with all 10. And onto our feet. Our feet support us through our whole day. And we don't always get the credit they deserve. So really check in with them. How are they feeling? Slightly moving our ankles, rolling them. How do your joints feel today? And up to our calves. A little harder to move, but they're so very important. And our knees. How do your knees feel? Let's send those knees some love and gratitude for all that they do. Into our thighs. Sending our thighs lots of love and checking in. Into our hips. Are we sitting on our sit bones? Do we need to adjust at all? Are there any messages in our hips for us to acknowledge right now? And breathe. Moving on to our core, our powerhouse. How is your core feeling today? And your back, support system. Moving up to our chest, those mighty lungs that bring our oxygen in and out. Is there anything we could release right now so that we can take a deeper breath? And on to our shoulders. I invite you to surrender the weight of the world from your shoulders. This is not yours to bear. You are supported. Rolling those shoulders back, really checking in. Does one feel higher than the other or a little more stuck? And how can we be more fluid? And breathe. And onto our arms. If you want to move them around in little circles. Whatever feels right to you is perfect. Really check in. How are those arms feeling? Do they feel balanced from the left to the right? And our beautiful elbows that help us extend out into the world. How are they feeling tonight? And our forearms. Can you even go ahead and give yourself a little massage? Is there any tightness in those forearms? Anything you need to release? You can let your grasp go. Just surrender. And our wrists. Do you have any little pops or snaps? Or does maybe just rolling your wrists feel so perfect? And our palms. Check in with your palms. What's the temperature of them right now? Really use all your senses. Check in with your body. And on to our beautiful fingers. If you want to go ahead and put your arms back down in your lap, however you feel most comfortable. We're going to move up to the neck now. Our voice, our throat. Are we singing freely? If anything is holding us back from doing so, surrender. You are powerful. And onto our head and our face. If you want to roll side to side, really check in. Is there anything you need to release? Is your head feeling supported? Sending love now to your whole body. You are a perfect human. You were born this way. You will always be this way, no matter where you go or what anyone says. We're going to go ahead and surround ourselves. I like to start at the top of my head and go outline my body. We're going to surround ourselves with gold light. Gold is a very high vibration, and we deserve the highest vibrations. So surround your whole body in that beautiful gold light. And when your whole self is surrounded, go ahead and radiate it out. And breathe. Now I want you to surround yourself with pink love light. Your whole body is so loved. Your soul is loved. Your spirit is love. Once you go all the way around your body, I want you to see with your mind's eye this pink love light in your hands. And now I want you to see in your hands the world. And let's go ahead and surround the whole world with love. Sending love to Mother Earth. We surrender the mistakes we've made. We ask for your forgiveness and love. And breathe. Once the whole world is surrounded in this pink love light, I want you to gently rub your hands together. Go ahead, cover your eyes. Can tap right in the middle of your forehead. Awaken that third eye so you can see your full potential. And gently, when you're ready, open your eyes. Remove your hands and come on back to me. I thank you all for joining me on this surrender meditation. And I hope that at any point during these holidays, if you're feeling overwhelmed or you're not sure if it's everything you want it to be, because we often put a little too much pressure on ourselves for the holidays, you can remember all you need to do is surrender. Thank you, everyone. And now, as we're coming back, we're in our bodies, our soul's listening. Now we're gonna be guided by our spirit with Karen in Toronto. I am truly grateful to have Karen as not only a friend, but she's like a dear family member of mine. So, Karen, if you want to.
Oh, thanks, Connie. That was lovely. That was great. Thanks, Paul. You're helping me with my test also. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to talk about intuition today. Intuition is one of my most favorite subjects. And I believe we are all intuitive. I believe it is our gift. We all have it. It's just sometimes we don't recognize that we have it. It's like the sun is always there, but sometimes the clouds are in front of it. And so what I'm hoping to do tonight is I'm going to give you my 3 T's, which are my tips, my techniques, and my tricks. And I'm hoping by the end of tonight, even if we're intuitive, that I'm helping you to get to sort of your next place or get more clarity or whatever it might be. So just to start off with a baseline in case somebody hasn't sort of been introduced to intuition, there's 4 types of intuition. There is our clairaudience, which is those are the people who hear things. It's like you hear somebody call your name and you turn around and nobody's there. You hear your angels talk to you, you hear your guides talk to you, you hear who knows what it is talking to you, but you hear. That's your sort of dominant intuitive gift. And then we've got clairvoyance, which is that's how we see. And some people believe that is what psychic abilities are about, and it's not. There's lots of people who don't see, and people put so much pressure on themselves that they need to see, and not everybody is going to see. So, and then there is clairsentient. That is those gut feelings you have. It's like you had a bad feeling about something, or you had this really excited feeling, or you get the goosebumps. I know a lot of times when I am doing readings or I'm working with somebody and all of a sudden I say something and I just become completely goosebumpy, I know it's like spirit showing, okay, yeah, you're hitting it. And then the last one is claircognizance, which is basically, it's just like, you have a knowing, you get this big download, and it's just like you have this whole page of words or understanding. So what I want to do is I want to go through sort of some tips that help people sort of increase their intuitive abilities. And one of the things that I see out there is there's lots of people who are really intuitive, but because there's still fear and ego that's being part of it, that they're not giving the clearest readings they could, or they're not getting the clearest messages. So what I want to do is I want to give you some really simple, because we have a very short amount of time, I want to give you some really simple techniques to help you sort of get to a clearer path. So one way that is really, really, really simple is moving. Move your body. Get out and just move. Just dance, walk. I was out walking with my dog today, and we are having unseasonably warm weather in Toronto right now, and it was just beautiful, and all these patios are still open. And I'm walking along and I looked at this patio and they had 1 yellow tulip and 1 rose, and I was just like, oh, it was just such a beautiful moment. So that takes me to my next thing. Is another way to really increase your intuition is to raise your vibration. And the way we do this is we come from a place of love, And when we're in that place of love, we know we're there because we are really happy. We are full of joy. We're full of excitement. We're full of appreciation. So sometimes you need to fake it for a bit. So if you're not feeling it, just smile. And as Kai said, I know we all have our moments where, like, I had a moment last weekend where I was just on, I don't know what level I was on, but it was not good. And I was kind of snapping and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, the more you're happy, the more you realize, okay, I am really out of balance and I'm out of sync with myself right now. So let's get back into a happy place. So find something that makes you happy. Think about things that make you happy. And I know sometimes it's hard with, especially if you are an intuitive being and you're an empath, is just kind of feeling what we're feeling on this planet right now. But as Paul kind of said, because of what's going on, look at the positives that have happened. I'm walking more than I've ever walked. And I know that helps. Like, even when I was out on my walk, I had a bunch of downloads about sort of this intuitive course that I'm going to be doing in the new year, even a couple of things that came up for tonight. So it was just like, just knowing, just kind of playing with that. And the more you can be in that place of happiness, the more that you can appreciate all that's around you. We are so blessed in so many ways. The fact that we can all be together tonight, we are helping the vibration on this planet right now just by being together. Kai's beautiful meditation and sending love and light to the planet at this time, we don't even know what the ripple effects of that are, but I know there's going to be ripple effects of that. So those are a few sort of tips that you can play with. And again, going back to sort of what Kyrie did, is anytime you are doing meditation is one of the best ways to do it. But again, going out and meditating in nature, if you can, like, I know for some of us, like, you know, some people aren't as lucky as Paul and live in Arizona that has beautiful weather all year round. Some people, like Kai and I, have sometimes lots and lots of snow and craziness. So being outside isn't always totally possible. But the more you can be outside and be with nature and be in that meditated state, you're naturally going to be tapping into your intuition. Again, another thing that's really important to mention about intuition, I know, guys, I jump all over the place, so I'm sorry. It's like, this is coming. So another really important thing about intuition is it's subtle and we can miss it. So it's like you're outside and all of a sudden it's a nice day in the winter, so you can be out there and all of a sudden you smell roses. You know that's intuition. There's no rose around. So that is spirit giving you, source, whatever you want to call it, great spirit, whatever you're comfortable with. That is a message for you. And sit with it and see kind of how it feels and be like, okay, like to me when I smell roses, Mother Mary's around me. I'm not a religious person. This isn't coming from a religious place, but I know that is one thing. I have a friend, and one of her key ways is she is clairsentient, so she smells things. And she was telling me one time when she smells cigarette smoke, bad things happen. Well, I had you know, we're all different. And maybe because I told you that, now all of a sudden you're going to smell roses or whatever it might be. So those are my tips. Here are some techniques to help you sort of really start to get into your intuition. So
Looks like Karen might have froze there, but hopefully she'll be coming back on soon. I don't know if it's just my computer, but
She's frozen.
okay.
Looking
Yeah.
to the skies, to the heavens.
Yeah. And such a cliffhanger.
That was great intuition, Paul.
Oh, she'll come back in.
Yeah. Bear with us, everyone. Karen will be right back.
That's what happens when you live in Canada.
Yep. You never know what to expect up there. While we're waiting for her to come back, if anyone has any questions and like to jump out and ask them, whether it's for Paul, myself, or Karen, we'll make sure Karen answers them once she does get back.
I guess I have a question. When I love meditation. What is a good app for meditation? I mean, to go, I have friends that say, oh, do it, there's an app, but I don't know which one to get. What would you suggest?
So my favorite is definitely Insight Timer. There's the free version, or you can pay for it every year. And then there's also courses in it. But what's really nice is it gives you like a running count, like how many days in a row you've meditated, if you're the kind of person that, likes to track that. And there's just such incredible meditations on there that are free for everyone. So it's a really great resource. So definitely would try that one. I know there's multiple and like Calm and everything, but my go-to is always Insight Timer. Great question.
Thanks.
Let's see. And also there's lots on YouTube. There's probably too much on YouTube, but
I tried Calm and I didn't care for that.
Yeah, there's also a lot that are like white noise, and I personally love guided meditation. That's what I always do, because it's the easiest. My mind needs to focus on something, travel, either with my mind's eye or a journey through something. So lots of great guided meditations on there.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Janet. All right, I see her phone's coming back on. There she is.
Can you hear me now? Sorry, everybody.
It's okay. It's just because we love to hear you say sorry. Oh no, she's frozen once more.
I don't know where. Oh no, again?
Oh no, you're good now. You're good.
Am I good? Okay. Okay, sorry. So what I was starting to say is you get a spoon and a fork. And so you take off your sock and you start with the spoon on the bottom of your foot, and you make like the infinity, like the 8. And you do that on both feet. So you do that on the bottom of the feet, and maybe do like 12 on each foot. Then you take the fork and you start on either side, whatever, like the inside of the ankle, the outside of the ankle, and you very gently drag it down to your toes. And as you drag it down to your toes, what that does is it actually helps to align your chakras, and it grounds them, and it helps sort of pull the energy down. So it's a really cool, but a really interesting. It's no different than if you squeeze each toe, that also helps to connect your chakras and pull everything down. So there's that. Another technique that I want to do with you is I want you to imagine fire is very cleansing and transformation, transmuting. So what I want you to do to help sort of you align with each of the intuitive types out there is I first want to start with the crown chakra, and I want you to imagine that you have fire. Whatever color fire, it can be like a traditional flame, it can be a violet flame, it can be a blue flame, whatever comes to you. I want you to imagine that there is a flame at your crown chakra, and just see it opening it up and helping you connect to source, helping you to bring in the downloads that come to us, so it's easier for you to connect with them and understand the subtleness that when it comes, it's like, nope, that was not me. I know that was a message from above. So I want you to imagine whatever color flame that you feel called to put there, and just see it burning and opening it up. And now I want you to imagine a flame at your third eye, And this helps you with your clairvoyance, helps you see more clear.
All right, now we're stuck in our third eye.
Well, goodness. Everyone's going to be seeing lots tonight. Uh,
Oh, too bad.
well, we still have a couple minutes, so hopefully she can join us back and go. I'm guessing she's going through the chakras, but I don't want to make any assumptions. While we wait, does anyone else have any questions? I just want to thank you all for being here. Really appreciate your time and coming together.
While we have the time, where's everybody from?
Oh, yeah. If you want to put it in the chat or if you want to jump out and let us know.
Just jump out here.
Yeah, unmute yourself.
Well,
I'm from
from
Chicago.
So I met Kai. That's how I met Kai. Was he was
I'm in Tucson and I know Kai and I know Paul and Robin
Yay.
from BioTouch and massage.
I'm in Tucson and I used to live with Paul
Careful, secrets.
back in the firehouse.
Who is that?
I'm in Tucson as well, and then I know Kai.
Yay.
Great.
Awesome.
I'm in Chicago and I met Kai on Instagram.
I'm also in the Chicagoland area, and I've known Kai my whole life.
Lucky you.
My whole life.
We met when we were 3. We were neighbors, sort of. I lived like across the street.
That's funny.
Aw, that's awesome.
Susan, is your mom Katie?
Susan.
No, Sarah. Sorry, I couldn't read it.
Oh,
Is your mom
No.
Katie? Oh, okay.
no.
Lynn, where are you at? Eileen, where are you from?
Oh,
Okay, so I forgot my computer at the BioTouch Center today. So I'm trying to figure out how to do this on my cell phone. So I'm up in Marana, Arizona.
Wow.
All right.
So obviously I don't have a very steady hand, so sorry for the.
Taylor,
And then
Make it work.
my friend Taylor was able to join last minute. Oh my gosh, I've had such a busy week. I'm a nurse and I work in a COVID testing center. So I've had a really rough couple of weeks, and I was so like, I couldn't believe today was Thursday, and I was like, I never asked anybody, and I texted Taylor today and she was able to jump on, so I'm so glad.
Yay.
So this is my friend Taylor. We've known each other for quite some time. I think we went since high school, right? But not the same high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Became friends in college.
Yeah.
I'm in the Chicagoland area too.
Wow.
So
Nice. That's awesome.
So, just so you guys know, if you ever need continuing ed credits for your nursing, you can get those with BioTouch.
No, I know.
Yes.
Kaileen told me that. I know. That's amazing. I'm very excited about that. Unfortunately, because of COVID, I haven't had time to look into it, but that is on my list for sure. And I do need those. So
Hats off to you. Thanks for the incredible work you're doing.
Thank you for this. This is incredible. I really needed this. So thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. So I just got a message from Karen that her internet went out, so she won't be back.
But then we'll just have to stay at our third eye.
Yeah, everyone's just gonna be seeing
Right.
and journeying that way. Going forward, there will be more of these events starting in the new year. Of course, I want you all to enjoy your holidays, whatever you may be celebrating, and stay nice and grounded. So we'll just have to have Karen back on, and she'll finish that journey for us. At this time, I want to thank everyone for coming. There will be a replay available on the YouTube channel that's the same name as this event, Body Talks, Soulless and Spirit Guides. And I'm going to put a few more things in the chat, like how you can connect with Karen if you'd like to do so. If anyone has any questions and wants to jump out at this point, please do.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank
Have a
you.
lovely holiday season. If you have any questions at all, just reach out to us. One big thing I always think is so profound, I've had a lot of mentors, and Paul's actually the only one that you email him, you'll get him back. So if you have any questions about biotouch, he walks the walk and talks the talk. So thank you, Paul, for being here. Spiritually, thank you, Karen, for being here. And thank you all for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoyed your time with us and have a wonderful holiday season.
You too.
Thank you.
Thanks for setting it up.